afternoon. Welcome to this 10 Weather Impact Show. I'm meteorologist Chris Tomer.
And I'm meteorologist Aaron White. And what a week it's been.
Yeah.
I mean, we had those wicked winds back on Friday, gusts over 70 miles per hour here across the state.
And you said it was pretty bad.
Yeah, it was really bad. I mean, we had power outages, of course. There was some semis overturned, one that was overturned on I-71 that, of course, led to some long delays and road closure for several hours. And, of course, just the wind itself, I mean, was just remarkable.
It was some big gusts for Ohio.
Yeah.
I mean, you said there was like an 80-some-mile-an-hour gust up around Cleveland.
Yeah, 85.
That's a lot.
Yeah, and I mean, it happens a lot in the upper Midwest, down in the Dakotas, Montana. They have those high wind storms, but to get it here in Ohio, doesn't happen that often, especially considering it was sunny the entire time. Normally you get like winds like that with thunderstorms, of course, but not this time.
And it was after some rain, a lot of rain. So there were trees down. I remember driving through our neighborhood and there were trees down, people out there cutting those up. So that was a pretty destructive little windstorm that came through. Now, in last night, the temperature at midnight, I think, was in the 60s.
Yeah, 65 degrees at midnight.
And now we're at 37.
Yeah.
So a big drop in temps today. I'm sure you've noticed that. That's probably one of the big headlines. We had a quick line of some thunderstorms move through very early this morning. And then now, Aaron, what do we have on radar?
Yeah, we got snow to talk about now, and it's kind of wild how we just kind of quickly changed. We hit 77 yesterday afternoon, now 37, so 40-degree drop in temperatures, and now we're talking about snow showers, but also this week is Severe Weather Awareness Week here in Ohio. So we've, of course, already had some severe weather. We even had some warnings last night, and now we're still talking about it, though.
We are indeed. And so you're actually going to be talking a little bit more about this, but here are some of the statistics or the details on this tornado drill that are going to happen a little bit later this week.
Yeah, coming up here on Wednesday, it's our statewide tornado drill that takes place at 9:50 in the morning. So this is going to be across the entire state of Ohio. This is a time when you'll likely hear the sirens sound in your neighborhood. Your county may sound the sirens as part of this drill. And this is a good time to practice your safety plan, whether that's at home with your family, at work with your coworkers, or of course at school. And just, in case we eventually do have to worry about tornadoes come the springtime, as we've already had some tornado warnings here in Ohio. And of course, it's likely going to be happening again as we go into April and May, Chris.
So let me think. Go hide under an underpass, right? That's the number,
the worst place to be, right? Yeah.
Avoid the underpasses. All right, let's just talk a little bit about the forecast. Aaron will have more on the tornado stuff just a little bit later. All right, here's your view outside. It is cloudy and it is very windy. You can see the camera shaking just a little bit right there on the sky view. It is 37 degrees. Keep in mind, we were 30 degrees warmer not that long ago, just earlier than the midnight hour, and so that's how much things have changed. These winds out of the west are just howling out there, sustained at like 20 to 25 miles per hour. So for the rest of the day, this is what the sky conditions will look like, roughly staying in the 30s, maybe even a snow shower or a couple of flurries across the area. You can see the darker clouds all the way through the 5 o'clock rush hour. And just sort of speaking of that chance of snow, it's mainly going to be to the east and to the south of us. This is live radar. Where you see the blue, the radar is thinking that there is the possibility of some snow showers. This is going to be very light in most of these areas. We were looking at the cameras in Licking County. We aren't seeing anything falling there right now, but if you're going to Zanesville or down towards MacArthur, Jackson, Athens, you probably have a better chance of seeing some snow showers through the course of this afternoon and evening. So the initial line of thunderstorms moving away, and now this colder flow and even a little bit of moisture coming out of the south right there. You can watch it on the very last frame. Right here it comes from the south, so maybe some snow showers to the east and to the south of Columbus through the afternoon, evening hours. So here's radar just kind of zooming out a little bit. West Virginia, Kentucky seeing some of that moisture, and that's where it's coming from. It's moving from the south up towards the eastern part of Ohio there. And look at the wraparound here coming off of Lake Michigan through Chicago, windy, colder, big time snow. Blizzard conditions up there in the UP of Michigan and upstate there in northern Michigan. So we've got blizzard warnings up there in these red shaded areas. That's a big deal. I mean, they're seeing significant amounts of snow accumulation there. In Ohio, it looks like we still have some wind advisories up for the northern part of our state. The yellow off to the east is a tornado watch there. So here's our forecast, the hour by hour, the forecast radar, if you will. Now, as we move ahead, I want you to watch the areas to the east of us and to the south of us. See that blue right there that's starting to fill in across the eastern counties? That's an indication of the possibility of some light snow, some snow showers, some flurries out there. Zanesville would be included, down to McConnellsville, Cambridge, Caldwell, all possible. And then it kind of moves away. Here we are at 8 o'clock tonight. Maybe a couple of flurries here rotating through central Ohio. And then that may be the case overnight as well, a couple of flurries. This is 7 a.m. on Tuesday with pockets of clearing across the area, and maybe even a couple of flurries early. And then by the time we get into the afternoon, all that seems to disappear and things are much drier, and then skies would clear into Wednesday. There we are by Wednesday. Now, this is a whole separate little sort of clipper that may come through. This is Wednesday, 10 a.m., and then heading towards the lunch hour into the afternoon, a little wave of some snow showers may very well just kind of rotate through central Ohio. So that may be just a little bit of snow or snow accumulation. We'll have to see. But here is our 10 Weather Impact 7-day forecast. So there's the wind today and maybe a couple of snow showers. Tomorrow is St. Patrick's Day. Highs, we may go sub-freezing all day tomorrow with only 20, so a much colder day. The heart, the chunk of that cold air really just kind of moving through Ohio tomorrow. Wednesday, 20% chance of a snow shower, so you can see the pattern we're in. It now is too cold to see any sort of rain, and just a couple of snow shower chances over the next few days. 40 on Wednesday, Thursday looking at 57, much warmer. The first day of spring is on Friday with high temps in the low 60s by then. Look how warm it is by the time we get to Saturday and Sunday. Another storm system trying to push the temperatures up comes in. It might come in like late Sunday into Monday, but nonetheless, it is much warmer by the time we get to the air in the first weekend of spring at that point.
Yeah, finally looking ahead to some nicer conditions here, and of course even the first day of spring on Friday. I mean, 62 degrees. Not too bad.
Yeah, not at all.
Take it after today with that snow and everything. And,
yeah.
Well, it'd be interesting to see if we actually end up getting a little bit of accumulation in some of those areas. Athens up to Cambridge, especially where that snow's starting to maybe pick up a little bit here this afternoon.
See if it's hitting the ground.
Yeah, that's going to be the big question here this afternoon. But of course, we've had a lot happen in the last week. We talked about those winds, and you likely notice some of that here this afternoon as many people are still cleaning up from some of that debris of a lot of the downed trees. And if you notice any downed trees in the city of Columbus, reach out to let them know. The Parks and Recreation Department says to submit at 311 during regular business hours, or if it's after 3:30 in the afternoon, you can call the non-emergency police line. And in Delaware City, crews are picking up branches and yard debris this week. Before your regular waste pickup day, place yard debris at the curb and in paper bags, no more than 50 pounds each. Crews are picking up debris, including bushes, branches, leaves, brush, and sticks. Again, crews are collecting yard debris on your regular pickup day.
Well, if your property has any damage after this weekend's weather, you may be able to get some property tax relief if it's something that you may have not even taken advantage of yet. But after wind gusts of around 70 miles per hour, it's something you might want to think about. Yeah, I mean, that in Hocking County, the Ring camera video from the Hocking Hills Golf Club shows a tree splitting in half, which is what you're seeing there, just missing the golfers walking by. Fortunately, no one was injured. Pictures from Marion also show trees falling on cars. In Worthington, trees falling on houses. I mean, that is just horrible. If your property sustained damage, the Franklin County Auditor's Office recommends that you take photos, document the damage, and along with repair estimates, an insurance claim documentation, there's a form that you can fill out online, and we've got it on our website at 10tv.com under the featured links.
Yeah, I mean, some pretty wild stuff. And remember, for all the latest weather alerts, breaking news, you can download the free 10TV app on your phone. Just make sure to turn on the notifications so you can stay in the know. And as we talk about some of the severe weather, of course, we had a big blizzard the last several days. We're getting closer to spring, but it's not done yet for many Midwestern states. This week is the spring equinox, of course, coming up on Friday, but winter still holding its grip on millions of Americans. You can see the blizzard conditions there sweeping across parts of the Midwest, including the Great Lakes. Forecasters say that storm dumped more than, several inches of snow. Of course, we talked about that up in parts of Wisconsin. This video showing heavy snowfall blanketing that area. And according to the National Weather Service, some parts of the state got as much as 25 inches of snow. And obviously people are hard at work to clear that and just get things back in shape. And more video out of Wisconsin shows one lane blocked off due to the hazardous conditions. You can even see people are there in the ditch, and some people say the snow isn't the problem, it's the cold they don't want to deal with.
I don't mind the snow. I mean, I prefer warm weather, obviously, but I don't mind the snow. Yeah. The cold sucks. I don't care for the cold, but the snow, I've been a Wisconsin resident my whole life, so.
It just comes with the
Yeah, it is what it is.
I do some forecasting for ski areas, and
Yeah.
I was looking at Boyne Mountain up there in northern Michigan, and there's a bunch of resorts up in like the UP as well.
Oh,
These
sure.
little resorts, and
Yeah.
some of them were probably going to see 24 to 36 inch, 2 to 3 feet of snow out of this thing.
Which is remarkable.
Amazing powder days up there. So meanwhile, up in Minnesota, the National Guard is helping with some snow cleanup. Video shows people helping pushing out cars of the snow. And once the National Guard was activated, members tore, they basically, what did they do here? They tore through a foot of snow in specialized vehicles to rescue people who ended up stranded. So they had to call them out to get everybody out.
Yeah, I mean, it's just kind of wild. I mean, talk about how much snow they got up there in parts of Minnesota and Wisconsin. And at the end of the day, when it comes to the blizzard, there's only so much you can really do to fight it, of course. And people found some ways to have fun, especially some kids and especially some of our furry friends and their owners. Photojournalists Ray Campos and Ren Clayton found Minnesotans enjoying their blast of winter.
On this steep hill under the towering silhouette of the St. Paul Water Tower. If you listen closely, you can hear it over the wind. Not the gusts, but the sound of childhood.
I loved when it was warm, but it's really fun when it's cold too and all snowy because there's so many things you can do in the snow.
It's like good snow right now to like make snowmans and stuff.
Kids and parents lined up one by one, sleds in hand and skis on feet, waiting for their turn to take on the hill.
We love to get outside, because like a couple of days before when it was like 60 and there was no snow, we really loved like being out here. We get to, get another opportunity, to sled.
Because when you're young, a snowstorm isn't a problem.
We planned a sleepover so we could have like a late night sled. And we just had so much fun last night, so we had to come back.
It's an opportunity to make memories.
You get like a bunch of air time. Really, it's really fun.
And for the parents out there,
Makes me really happy because this is what I grew up doing, and we'd be out here until we were soaking wet and freezing cold and fingers were turning blue, and I get to see my son and his friends doing the same thing I did. It's great.
he says the kids have one thing in mind.
No, the kids have a wager. I think we're at 75 to 25 that we won't have school tomorrow.
With photojournalist Ray Campos,
Even my teachers were talking about owning a snow day, but it's Minnesota, so.
Ren Clayton, WCCO News.
Spend a little bit of time in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Would you recommend going to Dairy Queen and getting a blizzard? Having a blizzard.
Not a bad idea. It's one way to, as it said there, embrace the blizzard a little bit. You see that in Wisconsin, of course, and Minnesota. People trying to find ways to enjoy it a little bit, but still pretty wild. And one surefire way to make sure people don't embrace winter weather is to cut off their internet as storms came through. Unfortunately, that's what reality set in for many people down in Nashville. This afternoon, people in Nashville are still recovering from that winter storm back in January. AT&T customers have been without service for nearly 2 months now after Nashville was hit with heavy ice in late January, knocking out power and communication lines across the city.
No weather, no news. All we could watch is DVDs or CDs to entertain ourselves or talk to your wife, and that gets old after about a week, just sitting here talking.
Hey, gotta find ways to, do stuff without the internet. And this family says they got a call from AT&T's office and of the president, and the company says they want to do whatever it can to actually fix the problem. So.
Well, many families across the Buckeye State are gearing up for spring break, but before you head out on that family vacation, you need to check out the forecast. This time of the year, especially across the Midwest, could be a hit or miss time with severe weather and even possible snow, which is everything what we're seeing. Just overnight, we saw heavy rain and wind in central Ohio. Other parts of the country were hit by a blizzard, as we've been telling you about, stopping many travel plans.
Take it very seriously. It is not going to just melt off like a spring storm either. It'll linger, and there's going to be travel impacts for many, many hours after even the snow stops.
I always laugh when somebody says, experts say to check the weather at your destination. Yeah, you definitely should. And then the other thing they'll say is call your airline. Well, okay, call your airline. But,
see what you can get from them, I guess. Yeah, especially when you got the delays and everything like that. And if you want to plan to hit the slopes for spring break.
Oh, there's whitefish. I've been there. That's beautiful.
Okay, yeah, it looks nice out there. I mean, they've gotten a little bit of snow, but it's not been really a big winter for them there in Colorado.
And whitefish is in Montana, but even there, it's been pretty dry.
And for the $50 billion ski industry, there's been a snow drought at resorts in the Rockies and the Pacific Northwest, and now some ski towns are feeling political fallout from tariffs. A survey of U.S. ski resorts found Canadian visitors down about 40% this season.
We've always thought of our Canadian neighbors like neighbors. So I guess our message is always like, we're still here, we're still your friends, and we're open for business. We hope the day comes when they feel comfortable and welcome back here.
And again, it has been down to about 25% since about January. So, not surprising with some of the less snowfall.
Yep.
I know some parts of California have had a lot of good snow this season with big storms moving through, but Colorado and other parts of the Rockies, not so much.
Parts of Utah are down 12 feet from normal.
Okay.
As far as snowpacks. That's pretty significant.
Yeah.
A lot of skier visits are just down everywhere across Colorado. All right, so in another popular vacation spot, heavy rain has been making things both miserable and dangerous. Rescue crews had to pull multiple people from floodwaters in parts of Hawaii as they have been soaked by recent rains. Hawaii News Now's Lynn Kawano was with the Honolulu EMS as their teams answered calls from across the island.
Mud and heavy rain made it difficult for 4 people trying to climb their way to safety where Manoa and Palolo streams meet in Mo'iliili. They were able to climb out using an HFD ladder.
Just after those people were rescued from the bridge under King Street, word of more people trapped under a bridge on Kapi'olani Boulevard.
A half-dozen people were crouching under the pillars as fast-moving water started to rise. Honolulu firefighters brought a dog to safety first, then its owner and the others. Honolulu EMS treated all of the people rescued for minor injuries, and the core unit took them to shelters to wait out the storm.
They didn't need an ambulance. Some did, but they didn't all need EMS, so we could save the EMS crews, the paramedics, for the life-saving emergencies, and then CORE could take people either to the hospital or shelter.
It wasn't just water rescues. EMS found people passed out at a bus stop in Chinatown, exposed to the elements. One was given Narcan. All had symptoms of hypothermia.
It's actually a perfect storm right now. With the wind, with the rain, and with the temperature, people can get hypothermic very quickly, and we're seeing that out there. We're seeing people who are in the water shivering, hypothermic.
Rescue crews ask that people stay home if they can. Don't be on the roads if you don't have to. It only makes it more dangerous for everyone. I'm Lynn Kawano, Hawaii News Now.
And finally today, let's check out some new video into us here at 10 TV. We're going to wrap up things today with video from the high winds around the nation that impacted central Ohio last week. So check out this video from Texas where multiple cars crashed en route 287 east of what is that, Kuna, Texas?
Quanah, Texas?
On Sunday. because of the high winds. Winds are seen whipping around the dust and debris on the highway right there. That is just bad.
I mean, just wild. I mean, of course, we talked about how wicked the winds were there in Texas, all the way across the Midwest. We had gusts, even higher in parts of Montana. Here we had those gusts of 70 to 80 miles per hour. And we had scenes where we had the semis that got blown over here in Ohio. We saw that in parts of Montana, really parts of the upper Midwest, just seeing those crazy winds. And that was with one storm. We had this other storm that brought us the rain last night and brought the blizzard up in Wisconsin and Minnesota. They also had winds gusting over 60 miles per hour. So
a lot of wind so far.
It's been a week.
And you know what? We'll be tracking that. I'll be here all evening long. And so hang with us. Appreciate you tuning in here.